Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we will be discussing about the settings of the classic Jotform. So, how you can change specific settings and what each option will mean, how it will affect your form. So, we will be discussing that in detail. So, in the top of your building window you will see three options. One is settings and the other is publish. So we will go to the settings option, and here are the form settings which you can choose. If you click on show more options, all form settings will be displayed here. So now we are gonna discuss this one by one. So the first one is obviously, as it displays, it is the title of the form. As you can see, it is classic form. So this is the title of the form. You can change it directly by clicking here, or you can change it by going into the settings, whatever you feel easy or suitable. The next is form status. It can be enabled or disabled on a date. Now the first option is enable. If the form status is enabled, then it means everybody will be able to access your form through the link generated. If you click on disable, then it means this is the form currently. So if I refresh this, it will say the form is currently unavailable. Why? Because we made it disable. Next is disable on a date. Like if you wanna take a quiz or an assessment for a specific period of a time, like for a day, for a week, and after that you don't want users to access the form, then you can set your date. Like you can set the at the specific date and at a specific time the form will be disabled, and this is what the message displays to the user. Like you can display the assessment is currently not ongoing or something like that, whatever you feel is. The next is disable on submission limit. Like if you want to collect 100 responses for a form and you don't want more than 100 responses for a project or something, then what you can do is you can put a submission limit, and as long as the submission limit is met, the form will be disabled immediately and no further submissions will be collected. So the next is disable on a date and submission limit. So this is either one of the condition will met, like on a specific date or on a submission limit, your form will be disabled. So currently we will switch it back to enable option. The next option is form warnings. What are the form warnings? These are the different kind of warnings. Like if you made a field required and your user wants to skip that option, then a warning option will be displayed that this field is required. So these are the warning messages displayed by default. But if you want to change those messages, definitely you can do that. As you can see, the required message is this field is required. At least one field required, at least one field is required. So these are different kind of form messages or form error messages which you can change according to your needs or according to your preference. So these are just simple text which is typed here by default, and you can easily change those. So all you have to do is you can simply read the description of the field as it is set here. This field can only contain letters. Like if you have set your text box to simply accept the letters, and if the user enter a number, then it will display the letter that this field can only contain letters. So this is how you can change your different kind of messages to display user. So as you can see, there are a lot of messages for different fields. Some are definitely general, which will be displayed like required or something like that. But some messages are specific to the specific field, like the date properties are different from the text boxes, and text boxes properties are different from the text area. So each field will have its own messages, and you can customize that according to your need. So now the next option is form language. As you all must know, Jotform offers the facility to provide our form in multiple languages. So we can select, currently if the form is in English, we can select the option, let's say this one, so that our form will be displayed in multiple languages. So these are the translation, like we can add multiple languages and their translations for our form for specific purposes, so that our form will be available in multiple languages. The next option is password protection. If your form is not for the general public, it is for a specific group of people, like for the board of directors or something, for just the employees of the company, and you don't want other people to access your form. What you can do, or your form contains sensitive information, the simple option is just to enable password protection. So you can share this password with the people you want to access the form, and the people without this password won't be able to access your form. Like, let's say we have set the password 123. Now if we want to access this form, it will say this form is password protected. Please enter the password to view and fill out this form. Now the people with the password will be able to access the form, but those who don't have the password will not be able to access the form. So this is how the password protection is work for the sensitive data, or if the form is for a specific group of people and you don't want other people to access that. The next option is encrypt form data. If your data which you are collecting through the form is highly sensitive and you don't want a hacker or some other third party to get that data by illegal means, then Jotform offers the option to encrypt. So it will use some encryption technique to these. So you need a public key and a private key to decrypt the data. So here you will enter your Jotform password to confirm. So you can create the encryption key, or you can simply provide the one you have already created. So this way your data will be encrypted using those keys, and once the form data is submitted, you can again decrypt that data using this field. Let us know in the comment if you want a separate video for the complete encryption and decryption process, and then we will do that. And the next option is continue forms later. So let's say if your form has 12 pages or 20 pages, or let's say 50 pages with hundreds of questions, and you don't want your user to get tired and leave the form before submitting it, then Jotform offers the facility to save form at a stage, and then they will email the saved link to the specific user, obviously to their entered emails, and then your user can continue the form right from their left. They left the form. So once it is, as you can see, there is currently only one button. So once the save and continue later option is enabled, you will see there is another button as save. So once the user is will click on this, they can have two options. The first option is, it is right now displaying in Dutch because we changed the form language. So in English there are, like in all of the forms there are two options. The first option is, if you are logged into a Jotform account like I am right now from mine, then on clicking the save, it will directly email the link to the admin email attached with that specific link. But if we want to enter a specific email, then we can do that. They will, a box will prompt for their email to enter. Once they will enter their email, then they will be able to definitely save their form like this. You can create your account, or you can simply go from this to this. Let's turn off the translation first. So there are a lot of different options in this to choose from. So now let's see. If we refresh this form, and then we will click. So if we are using the same IP, then the next time we will access the link, it will automatically ask two options: discard and start over. Like, you can discard your previously saved data, or you can start from the new data, like here. let's say I will want to save this form. I will click on save and it will say your form has been saved and a link has been sent to the admin email. So now let's click on save again to see if it shows the other option. But if you are not logged in, then the two options will be displayed, and those options will be like for just at the bottom. Currently it says logout, but at the bottom it will say enter the email, and once you will click on that, it will ask you for your email, and once you have entered your email, it will send the link to your email definitely. Now we will see if we refresh this page. So it will ask discard and start over or continue with the draft. Now if we click on continue with the draft option, then you will see the name I entered before into the name field will be there, so that I don't have to type that all over again. Let's see. Also you can get the shareable link. We will try to access it through the link also. So as you can see, the name is not gone. It is already in the field, as you can see. Now let's see. I copied the link, and if we click it here, then you will be able to see that the name is already pre-populated in the field. Okay, now the next option is definitely the option below is customize, save and continue later email. Like as I mentioned before, once the user will click on the save and they will enter their email, an email will be sent to their entered email address. But how the email will look, what message you want to the user to see, you can customize it by clicking it here, and it will allow you to simply customize your email what you want to send to your clients. Okay, after save and continue, the next option is required single sign-on. So if you want your user, if you don't want to use the password protection option and you don't want to encrypt your data, but instead you want your user to have a Jotform account before filling out the form, then you can enable this option. So currently we cannot enable this option because this is only available in paid plan. So the next is unique submission check. So use cookies or IP address to prevent multiple form submissions. So whichever option suits you best, you can choose that. Only cookies or only cookies and IPs. So no check, then it means a user can submit multiple entries. But if you want to restrict your users from submitting multiple entries, like in case of robots, then if we simply enable the check, it will check if the IP address for the entries is repeating, and it will block the entries automatically. The next is unique question check. What it means is do not allow previously entered values. Like if the user have entered anything in the email field. So let's say I have already submitted the form through an email abc@gmail.com. Then if next time I entered the same email, then it won't allow me to submit the form. The next is form accessibility. So you can enable it or disable it. So this is not really a very useful option, but definitely we can check on that. And the next is page title, as we discussed earlier. So the previous title will be the simple form title, and this is the that will be used as a HTML page. Like if we are going to publish our form on a website page and the coding where will be used, then this will be the HTML title. Next option is send post data. Like if you want your data to be transferred from one page to another, like from one form to another form or from one form to the thank you page, then you can use this option. So this way, once the user submitted the form, your all data will be transferred to the thank you page, and you can show different fields and use that data for multiple purposes. The next option is clear hidden field values. So if there are any hidden field values which are only displayed to the form admin but not to the user, and you want to clear the data on submit, simply turn it on. If you don't clear, then if the fields needs to have the same data, then you can simply set a default value, make the field hidden, and then that field data will remain same if you click on the don't clear. But for each time the user submits a form, the hidden field value is changed, then you can simply click clear on submit. The next is highlight effect. What is highlight effect? If you look closely, once we enter or we move the cursor inside a field, the color of this field is changed from the other field. So this will give us a hint about in which field we are working, as you can see. So this is the highlight effect. It is enabled. Let's see what will happen if we disable this effect. This way, if we are working in a field, that won't be highlighted, so we will not be able to see in which field we are working. As you can see now, in whatever field we are going, its color is the same. So this is the highlight effect. It basically, the purpose of this is to give user a sense like in which field currently they are working. We have already discussed the form layout, like there are two layouts, conv layout and classic layout. In classic layout, all questions are on one page, which we are currently working in. But if you want to change the layout, simply click on single question per page and your form will be turned into one question per page. Next is show error navigation on form. Like if there are multiple errors on your form, you will be able to see the error navigation. The next option is prevent cloning. So what is cloning mean? It means we can, as in the first video, we have seen that we can either clone the or copy the complete form from a user URL. Like if we have the Jotform URL, we can simply clone the complete form and all its functionality within our account. So if you want other user to clone your form, then this option will be enabled as no. But if you don't want your form to be cloned by the other people, then simply click on yes. So this way, once the user will use the link to copy your form, then it will won't allow the user to copy your form. So next option is allow browser autocomplete. Like if a user have completed 5 to 10 fields and the browser window is refreshed due to some reason, then it will allow the user a browser to keep the data for the previously entered field into the form. So this way you can ensure the maximum user experience. So this will be all for the settings for now. We will be discussing all these menus one by one. So make sure to subscribe the channel to keep you updated, and don't forget to like